Hey guys, Tomboy601, and welcome to our Belfast 43 review. That's right, the second British cruiser to have a number in its name, and just like the first one, it's a bit of a disappointment, or at least that's what I'm going to call it. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but Belfast 43 may not be coming out of my port that much if you want a TLDR of this review. Anyways, if you're interested, we're going to be going over our build. That's the commander, that's the mod slots, that is all of the consumables, and then we'll be going and showing off a game as well as going over all of the stats of Belfast 43, including diving into its armor scheme. So if that interests you, make sure you stay tuned. So without further ado, let us dive right on into this review. And first things first, let's go ahead and talk about the commander. And well, I am running the commander of the same name. That's right, Azur Lane Belfast herself. And that's because, well, she does give specific bonuses that are very nice to Belfast and make her just that little bit more combat effective. So her base trait, it's going to reduce the detectability firing range of when you're hiding in smoke, which you will probably be doing a lot of when you're in this ship because its armor is not exactly there. Inspirations we are running are Mikawa for increased concealment and Sims for more health, because you're going to want more health. Then we have Ingenious, full speed ahead, punch through, fixated, and refill station. Now, if you don't have Belfast, I think your two options: one, if you have a 16-4 tier world, I think that would be a fantastic pairing with Belfast. If you don't have a 16-3 Belfast, then I would say running Fraser is probably going to be your best bet, or running Tenant. Literally, you can do fairly well with all of them. I'm going with Belfast because of that unique base trait. It just helps make the gameplay a little bit easier, which you will want for this ship. Let's go ahead and dive into the mod slots. I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but Belfast 43 is a tier 7, where the usual Belfast is a tier 6. So what do you get, and what are you putting in all of those extra mod slots? Well, first one, we are running aiming system mod 1, the kind of usual. Turret traverse is in the 23-second range, so main battery mod 2 could be an option for you, but I prefer that first one. Then we, because this is a British cruiser, we only have the options between steering gear and damage control, and damage control, and we are running the steering gears. Then concealment mod in the second slot, and finally main battery reload booster. Torpedoes aren't good enough for you to try to spec into them, and I don't think AA or the 5% extra range really helps out the ship. So that's what we have there. Let's now go and talk into what is supposed to be the star of this ship. That is the consumables. So the ones that we are running are Damage Control Party, which is a 5-second duration with a 60-second reload time. That's the bog standard one. You know and love your Damage Control Party. Then you have the Sonar. It's going to detect torpedoes at 3.5 kilometers, ships at 5. Duration is going to be 100 seconds, reload time 120, and you get 2 charges. Then one of the stars of this is going to be that radar. It's going to have a 9-kilometer radar, which is fairly, there's a pretty good range. 30-second duration, which is a fairly long duration. Reload time of 180 seconds, and you're going to get 2 charges. And finally, in the last slot, we are running the smoke generator. Something to note here, this is more of a British destroyer smoke. It's short, 40-second like dispersion time, reloads in 70 seconds. It is a short lasting smoke, which lets you kind of shoot and scoot, which is nice. It is a difference from the regular Belfast, and one that I like the option. Now, you may notice there are other selections for each of the other ones. So in that first slot with Sonar, you could choose to put defensive AA on. In that second slot, instead of radar, you could choose to run a fighter plane, and in that third slot you could choose to run a heal. We'll talk about this later, but given what each of these consumables does, it kind of forces you to choose the ones that we have here, because the heal is not that impressive. It's 200 when all of the other British cruisers at the tier do 400 to 500 damage per second recovery. Like, it is just not worth it. Anyways, those are the consumables. And with all of that said, let's now go ahead and dive into the stats of the vessel. So first things first, You're going to have 41,200 hit points with our current build, thanks to Sims. Armor thickness between 6 and 114 millimeters. Let's go ahead and dive on in to that armor overview. And guys, it's not great. 16 millimeters of armor at tier 7. You're going to get slapped by a ton of things. Absolutely slapped. Everything will pen you pretty much. It is a ship you do not want to be spotted. And we'll go ahead and take that away and take a look at its Citadel. Bow armor is going to be 16 millimeters. Deck is going to fluctuate between 16 and 51 millimeters. Let's go ahead and take a look at that Citadel. As you can see, slightly above the water and not exactly the most well protected. You're going to get hit in your Citadel in this ship, and there's nothing you can do about it. Angle, nose on, battleship rounds going through that. Just hide. Hide is the way you survive in this ship. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the stats. Torpedo reduction, 16%. Next, let's go ahead and talk about that main battery. 4 3-barreled 152 millimeter guns that do get 30 millimeters of HE pen, which is a nice bonus firing range, 15.3 kilometers with a reload time of 8.1 seconds, giving you a shells per minute of 89. 180 time on those guns, 23.4 seconds. HE damage, 2,450, giving you a DPM of 215,600. Chance of fire on those HEs, 9%, which is pretty decent. AP damage, 3,348, with a DPM of 297,272. Secondaries, well, you're going to have 6 2-barreled 102 millimeter guns with a firing range of 5.2 kilometers. Reload time on those, 3 seconds, and it's going to do 1,500 damage and have a 6% chance to set fire. Next, one of the things that this does have over its similarly named and exactly the named sister is this ship does have torpedoes, 2 5-barreled 533 millimeter torpedoes. Reload time 72 seconds, damage 15,867, detectability range of 1.3 kilometers, torp speed of 61 knots, and a range of 8 kilometers. AA, decent 5 kilometer range with a minimum damage of 107 and a maximum of 207. Maneuverability, max speed of the vessel 33.8 knots with a turning radius of 680 meters and a rudder shift time of 7.1 seconds. And finally, we get on to concealment. This is one of the strengths. 9.7 kilometers by sea, 6.1 by air, and 4.8 when firing in smoke. That's up to Belfast. That really lets you kind of play a little bit more forward, be able to have a little bit of a buffer zone when ships are deciding to push in. So those are all of the stats. Now let's go ahead and dive on in to a game in the ship. So here we are on Land of Fire, a appropriately named map for what we are going to do. We ended up spawning on A side with a destroyer and a battleship. First idea for us here was, okay, let's get behind this island. Destroyer will kind of scout out and we can decide what we want to do from there, and you'll see what occurs. But while all of this is coming and going, let's go ahead and talk about Belfast. And well, it's better than I expected, but not by much. When we were initially revealed that Belfast would be the ship inbound, I was hesitant for it to be at tier 7. I was like, okay, it's getting, is this like a pre-Weimar? Like, we know Weimar is going tier 6, tier 7. Is this kind of what we can expect the upgrade to be like? And well, I guess they upgraded it. Yes, it got another slot available to it, but it doesn't make the ship a whole hell of a lot better. Anyways, Fletcher went ahead and dropped out his smoke screen. We're like, well, he has long American smoke. Let's go ahead, push in, use it. He's in the cap. We'll go ahead, assist with the cap, and then we can go from there. So that's what's going on in the gameplay. Let's get back to Belfast. But the fact that we're not getting more armor, and Belfast already a somewhat fragile ship at tier 6, and now it's being brought to tier 7 where it needs to deal with legendary tier things, it just doesn't mix well. It just doesn't. The the two things I've heard about Belfast today, I was watching the live stream from Wargaming, and they're like, one, listen, it out DPMs Ochakov, and I went back to my spreadsheet, and at least with the build I have on my Ochakov and the build I have on this Belfast, it does not out DPM Belfast. Maybe base trait wise, it could out DPM Ochakov when it comes to HE. I'm not seeing that within the spreadsheets that I keep, but you know, like I said, we probably have different builds. That could be where the discrepancy is lying. That's been one of the things. Positive is the HE is there, and it does pen 30 millimeters of armor, just like the Ochakov. So you get that kind of quarter pen HE, that non-need to use IHFE to get the small guns to pen 30 millimeters of armor. But that is the big upside to the ship. It's that, and the other upside is the utility, but you're kind of forced to take the utility that we have selected here. And let's go ahead and kind of talk through that. First, we have Sonar. Well, you could choose Sonar or Enhanced AA. Why would you ever choose not to have Sonar? Enhanced AA, we have decent AA coverage, but you're never guaranteed to be in a game with a aircraft carrier, so you're gambling that slot away. And with something as so fundamental as Sonar, with on a ship with smoke, where we all know smoke screens attract torpedoes, especially in the higher tiers, so that doesn't seem like something you would want to swap between. The next thing is you have the Sonar. Well, or sorry, not Sonar, the radar. Well, you could choose to use the radar, or you could choose a fighter plane. A fighter plane. What are who in their right mind is going to go, you know, radar, the most powerful consumable in the game, one that is limited to a specific number of ships that only a few have access to, or I could choose a fighter plane that'll shoot down one ship or one incoming plane and go away. Yes, you get the benefit of being able to like see over islands, but so do you with radar. I'm not seeing the choice there. And then the final choice is you could choose to use smoke or go with the heal. And I hope you're seeing this in our game right here. When you are exposed in the ship, you get absolutely smacked. You get absolutely punished. The lack of armor is especially alarming when you come up against German battleships, because pretty much all of their secondaries will pen you, and they will just chunk away at your damage, and you got nothing to really counter it. So you have either the smokes to help you hide when you're out in the middle of the water, or else you need to island hug in this ship. That isn't a great fun playstyle. Like, yes, it's great. Weimar users, you know it, but you can also somewhat open water in the Weimar. Belfast, there ain't no open water in for you, unfortunately. You are very much kind of stuck with island hopping and smoke, and you need to be cognizant of that at all times. As you can see, we are trying to run away. We're trying to take on this kid. That Colorado fired HE at us. I think he saw the smoke screen and smoke coming out, and he saw fire coming out of a smoke screen. He was like, oh, must be a destroyer. And thank goodness he is using HE, because he could easily dev strike us here. But that's where we are. So you have the smoke, which you kind of need to be able to operate effectively and be able to do more than just strictly island hug. Or you could choose a heal, but there's a problem. That heal is half to a third as effective as all of the other British heals at the tier. It is like, it's not even like a British super, it's not even like I'm comparing it to a British super heal. It's just like plain bad. It's like a destroyer heal compared to a usual cruiser heal, which is kind of unfortunate. So you either choose a substandard heal, which yes is nice because literally every other cruiser at the tier has a heal, or you choose smoke, which will keep you alive longer. And I think you know which one you end up wanting to choose. It's the smoke. Now, how would I, Tommy Boy 601, fix this? Well, I have I have one radical idea. I think that the sonar and the radar should have the options to also equip smoke or heal. With the sonar, I think they should give you the option to equip standard cruiser smokes. So if you want to give up the slot of sonar for a longer smoke and also still keep the other smokes, I think that'd be fun. It would make the ship unique. And then with the radar, same thing. Give us the British super heal instead of the radar. I think that would at least make the ship stand out and be unique, because as it is a ship that struggles. Also, we have this kid who decided he wanted to open water, try to gun duel us, and we show him what exactly happens. That would be my suggestion for making this ship somewhat interesting, because as it stands right now, this is a ship where I played multiple times today, got up towards the top of the scoreboard a good chunk of times, got on the top of the scoreboard a couple of times, but it's one where it's all about positioning. It's all about the luck of how the enemy ships want to engage, and it's one where you will do great if you're with a division, but you're not going to do great, or you might not do great if you're on your own, because you're going to be wanting to deploy your utility and not be able to really coordinate with the rest of your team. So that is the kind of mindset I've had on it. And to go back to Wargaming's comparison, because they brought this on themselves during the live stream today, they very much compared this ship to Ochakov. In a HE spammer, this is a better HE spammer than Ochakov. Oh, don't you hate the Ochakov because it's so effective? Obviously, the Belfast is just as good. And I guess, looking at the stats, I couldn't get it to match up, but whatever stats they're looking at, as far as damage and stuff goes, yeah. But I'll pose the question to you: if you had the Belfast or the Ochakov, which one are you going to have more fun in? Right? Because Ochakov has that speed, it has that ability to open water gunboat, and it's just way more fun. Where Belfast, I'm just not feeling it. So yeah, guys, that's the Belfast review. If you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.